Like many people in the UK and Europe, I have been waiting for months for Autel's new Nano Plus drone. Patiently clicking, emailing, refreshing pages to see when people on this side of the Atlantic could get their hands on it. And finally, it seems stock is beginning to trickle through, just at the same time as pre-release leaks start happening for the Mini 3. So where does that leave us now? Hello, I'm Ian and I play with drones, and it has been a frustrating few months for me trying to find out when the 750 million or so people that make up the European market could actually get their hands on one of the new Autel Nano Plus drones, because its camera specs handsomely beat the Mini 2, and I figured this was very much the new little drone to get hold of this year. But sadly, not been the case, because whilst our friends over in the US have been able to get hold of this fairly easily over the last few months, over here in Europe, absolutely not the case. Every single outlet selling the Nano Plus has just either been showing out of stock or just been taking pre-orders only. Back in January, I duly placed my order, and back then the listing text was telling me that stock was expected in early February. As time went on though, that turned into March and then finally turned into April. My emails to Autel themselves went unanswered, which in itself I think was pretty poor, frankly, and it seemed that the only way to get hold of one of these new drones was to either pay the extra for one of the grey imports outlets from overseas, or pay the £200 markup price from Amazon Prime, which put it straight into the same price bracket as the DJI Air 2S combo, which frankly I thought was just a little bit cheeky. And then suddenly we start getting all the pre-release leaks from the new Mini 3. We have all seen the carefully orchestrated media frenzy that DJI managed to produce each time they have a new premium consumer drone to release. And I'm guessing this latest DJI release will be no different. But coincidentally, at the same time, we suddenly start seeing a trickle of Nano Plus stock flowing through to some of the distributors here in the UK and Europe. So after waiting months, they finally get some stock to sell, just as it's clear a new DJI Mini is about to hit the shelves. So what to do? I cannot be the only person in this position eagerly awaiting a new Nano Plus drone with its premium camera specs. Do I wait for the Mini 3 or do I get hold of a Nano Plus now? Well, frankly, I've been waiting 3 months for a Nano Plus, so from my perspective, what is another few weeks? Now, I know a fair few YouTubers have been sent the Nano Plus directly from Autel to review, even here in the UK. And whilst Autel have sent me drones in the past, this time they skipped me right by and they wouldn't even answer my emails. I don't know, I guess maybe I'm no longer their flavour of the month. Maybe they didn't like my summary review, if you like, of the Evo 2 Pro last year on the 4-way wind test, where it did okay, but it didn't exactly shine. Either way, as I've repeatedly said, on this channel, I like to pay for my drones so I can be as objective and critical as I want about them. I like the freedom that this gives me. I don't want to be sent a high-end drone and then have the expectation from the manufacturer that I gloss over any issues. You all saw my feelings on the Mavic 3, and I did not hold back when things were not as good as they should have been. And the same with the Autel Evo 2 Pro last year. Technically, brilliant machine on paper, and even holding it in my hands, I was mightily impressed with the build quality. But when I flew it, the obstacle avoidance kept kicking in, even though I was right up in the sky away from any obstacles. And ultimately, it really did not jump out in any special way. It really wasn't that too different to my trusty Mavic 2 Pro that I'd already been flying for the last 2 years. And it actually sadly felt a little bit oversized and old compared to the shiny new DJI Air 2S that had only just been released for a far lower price, which of course performed far better in the 4-way wind test. So I don't know, here we are today. Some reports of the Nano Plus not being too great even in moderate wind, but it's still sporting this really impressive improved camera that goes well beyond the Mini 2's 4K camera specs. So I'm a bit torn, and for now I'm waiting. I'd always thought 860 was a little bit much for the Nano Plus Premium. That's a lot of money for a sub 250 gram drone, especially when you compare it with the Mini 2 combo, which is some £300 cheaper. Is the Nano Plus camera really worth that much extra money? Who knows? But what I do know is when I spend almost £1,000 on a drone, I also want some form of backup and repair service. And frankly, I don't think I'm going to get that with Autel for UK and European customers, because what I actually do know is that you cannot take out their care package unless you're in the US or Canada. So to me, that kind of just reinforces my thoughts that despite Autel being a Chinese company just like DJI, they seem very much focused on the North American market only, which is a shame, because they're probably the very best company to give DJI a run for their money and some decent competition. And, you know, competition is always good, isn't it? It helps control prices as well as pushing new features and innovation. And that's why I really want Autel's models to be good, and I want to see how they perform, and I want them to give DJI a good run for their money. But for now, in Europe, certainly, I don't see much in the way of competition for DJI, which frankly I think is a bit of a shame. And now, given the sudden impending release of the Mini 3, I have decided to cancel my order for the Nano Plus. I'm not saying I'm never going to buy it, but for now I want to wait and see what the new Mini 3 brings. Because you see, to me, DJI have a habit of making stuff that works well, even if it's a little bit shaky at first, although I reckon they'll definitely have learnt their lessons after the Mavic 3 launch. But despite me usually buying every new mainstream drone model and make to test out on and review on this channel, for now I'm saving my £1,000 and I'm holding fire on the Nano Plus until I know for sure that A, it's going to be actually supported in Europe, and B, doesn't end up being an overpriced bit of an orange lemon, if you like, when compared to the price of the Mini 3. So let's see what DJI are about to pull out of their hat. If they have got a pro version of the Mini 3 with a posh new remote and a screen built in, then all the better, because that just makes all the more fun for choosing which model and which package to buy. But either way, that is how I see things today. Tomorrow, don't know, who knows. But look, get in touch, let me know your thoughts. If any of you have actually got hold of the Nano Plus, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, because as I said, on paper it looks like an incredible little drone, and if anyone has any experience of getting it repaired in the UK or Europe, then definitely please get in touch with me, let me know, as I'm really interested in knowing how it went and what sort of care and backup you get with Autel over here in the UK and Europe. Anyway, look, that's it for today. Should be a fair bit happening over the next month or so anyway, which is always good fun. Always great fun when there's a new release, and as I say, the media circus gets into town. My legs are fixing up, still on the old crutches for the moment, but I should be able to get out flying later on the week, which surely is going to be a good thing. And thank you for all the good words that you guys have sent through, because it does put a smile on my face. But look, anyway, I hope it's been helpful. Let's see what the next few weeks brings. Wherever in the world you are, whatever you're doing. So until next time, have fun, happy flying.